So verifying trigonometric identities, we need to verify the identities by transforming one side of an equation into the form of the other side. So that's to make the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side. So this is my left-hand side of my equation and my right-hand side. So I'm going to look at the left-hand side and I'm going to prove that it is equal to the right-hand side. So the first thing I can do is multiply. So I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 1 plus cos theta. So if I do that, so I'm going to multiply 1 plus cos theta and 1 plus cosine theta. And then what I'll have is sine squared theta times 1 plus cos theta on the top. And on the bottom, this will become 1 minus cos squared theta. So now we can replace 1 minus cos squared theta. This is equal to sine squared theta. So I'm going to rewrite, so keep the top the same. And I'm going to change the bottom to sine squared theta. So now my sines will cancel. And I'm left with 1 plus cos theta on the right hand side, which is what we wanted. So the left hand side, sorry, that's the right hand side, and I have 1 plus cos on the left hand side. So they are equal. Okay, so now we've got another question. Verify cotangent squared theta minus cosine squared theta is equal to cotangent squared theta multiplied by cosine squared theta. So I'm going to take the left-hand side. So we have cotangent squared theta minus cosine squared theta. I'm going to replace cotangent squared theta. This is equal to cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. So I'm going to rewrite that. So cosine and sine squared theta. I'm going to leave my cosine as it is. So the next thing we're going to do is factor by cos squared theta. So if I do this, I can put, so this is going to be multiplied by 1 over sine squared theta minus, let's keep that separate, so minus 1. Now 1 over sine squared theta is cosecant squared theta, so I'm going to replace, so cosine squared theta multiplied by cosecant squared theta minus 1, and also cosecant squared theta minus 1 is equal to cotangent squared theta. So I can replace to cotangent squared theta, and I'm just going to rewrite this the other way around. So we've got cotangent squared theta multiplied by cos squared theta. So this is on my left hand side. And if I look at my right hand side, that is cot squared theta cos squared theta. Separate that on my right hand side. So they are equal. Okay, so we're going to look at another example. We have this time simplify an expression. So we have cosine theta, cosecant theta over tan theta, and we need to simplify this. So I'm going to keep my cosine, but I'm going to look at changing. So I'm going to replace my cosecant theta. This is equal to 1 over sine theta. So I'm going to replace this with 1 over sine theta. And this is divided by tan, and I'm going to replace tan theta with sine theta over cosine theta. Cosine theta. Now, so if I've got, I'm dividing, so this is the same as saying cosine theta times this is over sine theta. Okay, so cosine times 1 over sine, so that's on the top. And then if we divide, so we're dividing by sine over cosine theta, what we can actually do is just flip that. So that becomes cosine theta over sine theta multiplied by cosine theta over sine theta. And if I multiply those together across the top and the bottom, I'll have cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. And this is equal to, so I replace cos squared theta over sine squared theta with cot squared theta. So our answer is cot squared theta. Okay, so another example, tan squared theta multiplied by cot squared theta minus cosine squared theta. So we want to look to rearrange everything in the form of sine or cosine if possible. So the first thing I can replace, so I'm going to replace tan squared theta with sine squared theta over cosine squared theta. So this is sine squared theta over cosine squared theta. And then cotangent, we're going to replace cotangent. This is the opposite of tan, so this is cos squared theta over sine squared theta. So I'm going to multiply this by cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. And we have minus cos squared theta. So now I'm going to rewrite everything over, I'm going to multiply out and rewrite over the same denominator. So I'll keep this one the same for a second. And I want to write this one over, these both over sine squared theta. So sine squared theta, so that's 1 times cosine. And then this is going to be sine squared theta multiplied with, let's write the other way around. It's got minus. So I'll have cosine squared theta and sine squared theta. Right, so if we factor, this by cosine squared theta, we will have, so this will be times, and we'll do it, so we'll have 1 minus sine squared theta, and this is over sine squared theta. So we can replace 1 minus sine squared theta with cos squared theta. So sine squared theta over cosine squared theta, and this is going to be cos squared theta over sine squared theta. And if we now simplify, so this will simplify, and this will simplify. So this is 1. So we have 1 times cosine squared theta, which is cosine squared theta.